Hello, sports fans. It's me, Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke. And in this video, I'm going to discuss how I got started in Strat-O-Matic. Because I think that's interesting. It's always interesting to hear the stories that people tell, other Strat players that talk about how they got started. You know, playing Strat-O-Matic baseball or football or whichever one was the first one. And for me, it was the Strat-O-Matic baseball. It was back in 1980 because the 1979 baseball set was the first one that I ever owned. And to this day, it's my favorite one, probably because of that very reason. But much like Hal, and I think if you've ever read the book Strat-O-Matic Fanatics, the unlikely story of a game that became an American passion, the story in there about how Hal started the game Strat-O-Matic. The reasoning behind it was, I think, and it's been a while since I've read it, but if you haven't read it, I highly recommend that you get it and read it. It's great. But anyway, I think he says in the book that when he was a kid, he often found that a lot of the games that were out really didn't it didn't seem to accurately portray how players would play. Like they would have spinner games where you might have like Joe DiMaggio, and you would hit a spinner, and it would tell you what he did, but it never factored in the pitcher that he was facing, and and then I forget if he made any cruder versions. Well, I mean, he definitely did make cruder versions of the game that we know now. But even, I think he tried even just, a very simple version that really even wasn't as good as anywhere close to what his later iterations of the game were. And that was kind of like what I did. I just took a couple of dice and I would assign some kind of value to each roll, and so like I don't even remember. I couldn't even tell you, but it was that crude. It was just roll two dice and assign something: single, home run, walk, out, to whatever on the roll. And my father saw me playing like that, and he suggested that we go to the mall and look at the mall and see if we can find a game that's an accurate representation of a better representation of what baseball would be like, a board game that would represent it better. Now, I have no idea if he knew about Strat-O-Matic and knew that maybe there would be Strat-O-Matic at the mall. I mean, the game came out in 1961, and this was 1980. So it had been out a while. But in 1961, my father was probably... yeah, he's probably in his early 20s in 1961, so I don't even know if he knew about Strat-O-Matic. But anyway, he recommended that we go to the mall and we look around the mall and see if we could find a better game. And so that's what we did, and we went to the mall and we went to KB Toys and Hobby, which I don't even know if that's around anymore. But anyway, Strat-O-Matic was at the mall, and it was in the I'm sure you've seen it. It's one of their traditional boxes, the one that has like who was like Rick Cerone, I think, is one of the pitchers. It has the Yankees, like a Yankee second baseman jumping up in the air and turning a double play. So and like it has 3 or 4 different pictures of baseball players, and then it says Strat-O-Matic baseball, kind of like horizontally on the box. So that's the one we got, and I think it was, I want to say it was all of the 1979 set was in the box. And I came home, started playing it, started playing with a couple of games with my brothers, played a game with my father. Then I showed it to my friends, and they all liked it, and we started leagues up, and just kept rolling from there. And then once I liked the baseball, I said, well, they have a football, they have a hockey, let's check those games out, and I liked them too. I never really played the basketball, but I was never really interested in basketball either. So I never had the basketball board game, and I never had the basketball computer game. But we had all of the other three. We had the baseball, the football, and the hockey. And I love all three of them. And I love the computer versions of the games too. The hockey took me a little time to get used to. It kind of grows on you. The computer version of the hockey grows on you a little bit, but once you get used to it and you use it and you play with it, it's actually a really good game. Because I think the board version, and people out there that play the card and dice version of the hockey can maybe talk to this a little better, because it's been years and years and years since I played the card and dice version of the hockey. But it seems like the line changes happen way too quickly, or way too often, or maybe not enough. They don't happen enough. Whereas in the computer version, they can simulate it better. They can simulate the time, they can simulate the line changes, all that stuff can be simulated a lot better in the computer version. Just like they do things with the baseball that you can't do in the card and dice version of the baseball, like wild pitches and stuff like that. So anyway, that's how I got started. But I want to hear from everybody. How did everyone out there get started? Want to hear, did you have a lot of leagues when you were young? And do you still play today? Because I hear a lot of people tell me, oh yeah, Strat-O-Matic, I used to play that when I was a kid, but they haven't played it probably ever since they went off to college. So, and I'm like, why not? But anyway, I want to hear from everyone. Let me know, how did you get your start? And that's how I got mine. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know what kinds of things you want to see and hear about, and I will be glad to talk about that. Again, I'll be talking about a lot of Strat and a lot of what's going on in real sports, and that's what I'm here for. So, Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke, signing off.